Hello, Godot community. This is Dr. Robert Grogan, and today I am starting my last video of the school year, the 2023-2024 school year, and we are making our second video about brass embouchures and brass pedagogy, and today we're going to be talking specifically about brass warm-ups. So let's start by discussing the importance of brass warm-ups. Hopefully this is some good review. So why do we do warm-ups? Well, one thing we do, and I think teaching at the young band level, teaching middle school like I do, one crucial aspect of it is building faces. I have the mantra every single day that I want to wear out faces and brains every single day. I want them to think real hard and learn a lot, but also continue to develop embouchures. So one crucial thing that we do with warm-ups, especially for the brass players, is building embouchure strength. Young brass players have a lot of embouchure muscles to build. This will help with tone quality, endurance, and range. I want the brass players to be very tired by the end of every rehearsal. Not to the point where we're playing and causing damage, but just really fatigued. Some days, especially early on, it needs to be like going to face jump a little bit to develop this type of strength that we need for some of the more challenging literature that we do down the road. If I want, by the time they're in 8th grade, if I want them to be playing level 4 music, well, level 4 music goes above a high concert F in the state of Georgia. So we have to start early enough to make sure that we have the range necessary, that we have the muscles necessary, and make sure that the pedagogy is good where we're doing this with a good sound and characteristic sounds up top. So also with warm-ups, it's physical preparation for the day. Warming up increases the blood flow to the area. This is kind of like stretching for runners. And also it is damage prevention, which is the next point, prevention of injury. Not warming up properly can lead to strained muscles, swollen lips, or even permanent damage like embouchure dystonia. And that's where we sometimes can get kind of like a muscle reflex, kind of twitching in the embouchure, or the embouchure doesn't adjust. One symptom of embouchure dystonia is if there's all of a sudden air leakage or in combination with some twitching that might be occurring. Just a general, we've worn out the nerves around the muscles there, and a general lack of control of the embouchure. So types of warm-ups, and I've touched on this a little bit in previous videos, but I do think there's two types of warm-ups that we do, and that are technique building warm-ups and ensemble skills development warm-ups. I think warm-ups is a big part of my curriculum, that I have an ideal set of warm-ups that we are building to. We are spiraling 6th through 8th grade, building up to those 8th grade warm-ups, but taking 3 years to do it. Sometimes that's the entire lesson plan. The caveat of that is if you're going to do warm-ups for a lesson plan, just make sure that it's interesting. And I think the best way, and I've talked about this in previous videos, about staying interesting is that kids understand the utility. So if warm-ups, like me, if warm-ups become a big part of your curriculum and you're doing extended amount of times on warm-ups, keep them engaged by telling them the purpose, telling them why we're doing different warm-ups. What is the purpose of an airflow study? What is the purpose of some of the scale exercises that we do? What's the purpose of this? Make sure that they know what are technique warm-ups and what are ensemble warm-ups. Technique warm-ups are used to develop individual skills, and these individual skills are going back to embouchure strength, dexterity, and articulation. Some examples of technique warm-ups are lip slurs. I don't use lip slurs to teach blend and balance. I teach lip slurs to teach flexibility and dexterity. Scales are technique warm-ups. We don't use scales to teach blend and balance. That's a dexterity warm-up. Long tones. Long tones can also be ensemble warm-ups, especially when you get into I utilize Remingtons as both my long tone warm ups and building embouchures. But long tones, Remingtons. A lot of people will do either 2 count or 4 count Remingtons. They'll go F, E, F, and stop. Or F, 2, 3, 4, E, 2, 3. That was an E flat I sang, but E flat, 2, 3, 4, F. They'll do something like that. I say let's also build chops while we're doing this too. If we're practicing attacks, sustains, and releases, let's do make it longer. So I do 8 counts. F 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 E 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 F. And so each duration of that, and I try to have them play it in one breath too, is 24 counts. So now we're getting in the habit in our head of really counting, hopefully subdividing, and also that is an embouchure workout, especially for really young players. If they're really young and their chops are not developed enough, you'll see after doing those 8-count Remingtons, 8 counts on each note, they'll be like, whoa, that was a lot. Going from concert F all the way down to concert B flat, it takes a lot of focus. I do think that is a good mindfulness exercise too, with had the focus and concentration it takes to do 8 counts, and it's just in general really good for them. We're building faces, focus, subdividing, counting, everything. It's really good for them. Airflow studies is a really good exercise for building technique too. Some of these do cross over. I do utilize airflow exercise a lot for ensemble building as well. So ensemble skills development. Used to develop ensemble skills like rhythmic timing and vertical alignment, blend, balance, and tuning. So some examples are chorales. I have a chordal warm-up that I use. We call harmony chords, where they play 1 chord, 5 chord. I'm sorry, 1 chord, 4 chord, 5 chord, and back to 1 chord that we utilize. If we're playing something in a minor key, I've written out that in a minor key as well. The Remingtons we use for ensemble skills because we talk about attacks, sustains, and releases, the beginning, middles, and ends of each note. And also, like I said, how long we hold out those Remingtons too. It's a great opportunity to hear, blend, and balance if they're listening to their neighbors and some of the shaping and that we're talking about. I like to have my band play into the trombone section, the trombone timbre. I think that's a really nice, bright, forward timbre. And when you have your trombones really open up and play with what we call groan sounds in our band, and then the band plays into that timbre, it really makes a young band sound very mature very quickly. A lot of bands play into the tuba sound or the low reed sound, but what I like to tell the kids is that we'll play into the trombone timbre, but then the tuba and low reed sounds will just kind of sit on top of the band sound too. So we're trying to blend with that trombone timbre, encourage the trombone players to play with their groan sounds and to open up. And the whole entire time we'll use Remingtons to do that. And then lastly, the airflow studies. So lip slurs. Brass lip slurs are exercises where a player changes notes on the same fingering without stopping the airflow or tongue articulation. They involve smoothly and accurately transitioning between different pitches, often within a single harmonic series or across multiple series. We do have, I think 3 lip slurs I go through, sometimes 4, but my main ones are just B-ya-dee-ya-dee, and then I have one where they're doing lip slurring combination with some articulation. Dee-ya-da-da-ya, dee-ya-da-da-ya-ya-da-da, dee-ya-da-da-da-ya-da-da-da-da-da-da. Then we'll go down to the next one. And then lastly, B-ya-dee-ya-dee-ya-dee-da-dee-da-da, and we'll go down the valve series. Those are technique building exercises. Some of those I would never play in public. It would never be an on-stage warm-up, especially 2 and 3, because they're technique warm-ups. We sound bad at the beginning. and we hopefully will sound good and develop the strength necessary to play that with great sounds. Airflow studies. Airflow studies are crucial for brass players as they help improve their ability to play smoothly and consistently by practicing controlled breathing. This controlled airflow is essential for maintaining a consistent tone quality across different ranges and dynamics. Additionally, these exercises strengthen the muscles in a player's embouchures, enabling them to play for longer periods without experiencing fatigue. They also focus on refining the players' control and flexibility by varying the speed and intensity of airflow. So these were made popular by a brass pedagogue named Chekowitz. There is a sequence of airflow studies that I use. And as they go down the sequence, we build on the range. As they go up, I ask the kids to do these in one breath. So our first one, and sometimes, so that ends on the concert B flat. Sometimes I'll ask them to drop down to that pedal F and go back to the concert B flat, and that is really good for them, especially with thinking about isolating their face, think about the lip rotation. It's just really good if you drop down to the pedal. So that would be B, A, D, A, D, A, B flat, F, B flat, going down real low. Like that is really good for them. And then as we go down the sheet, we're going up higher and building range with that too. Concert F, Remington. Playing Remington's warm-up in full band promotes unity and cohesion, establishing a shared starting point for rehearsals. It allows the ensemble to work on tuning, tone, and technical skills collectively, fostering a harmonious sound and improving intonation and blend. Additionally, it enhances ensemble timing, rhythm, and precision as members coordinate attacks, releases, and dynamics together. So the only variation of this that I do is instead of 4-count sustains, like I've talked about, I do 8-count sustains on each note. So here is an example of our warm-up routine. We'll start with our F concert Remingtons, always the first thing we play every day. Lip slurred number 1. Ba-ya-dee-ya-da-dee-ya-dee-ya-da, and go down. Number 2, ba-ya-da-da-da. We call it every single day warm up. Number 3, be-ya-dee-ya-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Then we'll play our Allstate scale patterns. Then we'll do our Schlossberg scale patterns. And I'll do that on the 4 GMEA Allstate scale patterns. We'll move. So we've hit a lot of technique. So this is basically the end of the technical version of the warm-ups. Our face is warmed up. We're tuned up. We'll start the airflow studies, which is kind of the bridge. Then we'll do tuning. What we hit, depending on the age, I have a different tuning sequence depending on the age, and then we'll finish with harmony chords, the 1, 4, 5, 1. Well, that is pretty much by the time they get to 8th grade. We do that every single day. There are woodwind variations of that we have, but I hope that helps. That is more or less a good bit of my curriculum that I do and what I'm building up to by the end of 8th grade. So I hope that helps. It has been a pleasure making these videos for you guys. I love talking about band pedagogy. If you want to talk band pedagogy ever with me, please reach out. Please comment on our blog. And I hope that these were all helpful to you.